Hello, and welcome back to the Cooper Villa channel. I'm Scott Cooper, and I'm here with Noah Fisher and Owen Thompson, our special guest from Villa on Tour, and he's brought his dad along, Nick Thompson as well. Well done. Thanks for coming on, guys. They were at Craven Cottage yesterday, and we will be talking about this great win, a great performance. Ollie Watkins on fire. We'll be getting into all of that and much more after this. Okay, so yeah, we were at Craven Cottage, and after 3 defeats in the last month, we needed to get the 3 points. And Owen, I'll start with you, buddy. You were there as well, Nick. The first thing I picked up when I was watching on the TV over here in Australia was just the away support. I think was the big thing. It was just so loud. It felt like you guys were absolutely dominating, like on and off the pitch. What was it like? What was the away end like? And how did you enjoy the day overall?
We didn't really shut up for 90 minutes, to be fair. I thought we were absolutely brilliant yesterday. It was
Yeah.
one of the best away ends I think I've been in for a very long time. Probably going back to like Tottenham, maybe this season or something. We were just brilliant the whole game. And then that seemed to translate onto the pitch as well. I thought we were really good for 90 minutes. And even at the end, I know the scoreline was only two, but it didn't feel like we were holding on or clinging on at the end. We just dug in and stood firm. And yeah, definitely a brilliant result on the road.
Yeah, Nick, I mean, the last time Villa played at Craven Cottage was Steven Gerrard's last game. And since then, it's been an unbelievable change. And just to see the performance that we put out yesterday at against Fulham, um, what this Unai Emery has done with this team is just incredible. And yeah, it's just such a good comeback after a few dodgy results.
Yeah, it's another masterclass from Unai, wasn't it?
Mm.
Just when the doubts start to creep in and you're a little bit worried. I think we were all a little bit worried on the way down yesterday. Yeah, we took the train down, great away day, a few drinks on the way, a little chat, and we're looking back at the history. And aside from the lockdown victory, we hadn't won at Fulham since 2010. I think it was under Martin O'Neill's last season. So the expectation of us going there and doing something was a little bit edgy, especially with the recent form. But he pulled a master stroke again. The guys were on it from the moment we kicked off. We had a disallowed goal. We just dominated that game. I felt got a bit nervy towards the end, obviously, but
Yeah.
I think we dominated on and off the pitch yesterday. It was a superb day.
Yeah. I got a lot of abuse, Noah, for last week for predicting that Fulham would win this match, but I'm glad I did because I threw the double bluff in and it ended up coming good. We got the win, so thanks for everyone telling me what a disgrace I was for predicting Fulham were going to win this match. But look, I just wanted us to win the match. We did, but it wasn't just that. It's the performance, I think, that is the big takeaway because you got the likes of Pau Torres back in the team. What a huge difference he's made in just one match. It looks like we're back to sort of December Villa, when we were beating City and Arsenal and, controlling games. And he's just such an important piece to Emery's puzzle, isn't he?
I mean, with Kamara being out for the rest of the season, I'd probably go and say Pau Torres is probably our most, I guess, important player. Before he got injured, our last three results were the City and Arsenal one and then Brentford. And then it kind of defensively, we didn't look quite as strong after that. And I guess it just makes everyone around him look more calm. Like Matty Cash, Longley, Moreno, they all looked a lot calmer with him being back there.
Yeah, Longley especially, I thought had a really good game as well. Even apart from the goal, that was him and Emmy had a bit of communication issues there, and that was a bit of a soft goal to concede. But Owen, especially with the injuries to Diego Carlos and Kamara, like Noah mentioned, we've got quite a few centre backs out, and just the timing of Torres's return to the team. It was just such a huge shot in the arm for the team. And I think Jacob Ramsey as well had his best game for a while. And having his sort of energy in there as well, I think really helped and gave us something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think across the board, everyone had a much better game than we'd seen in previous weeks. I think a lot of that comes from Torres coming in and just calming everything down. Every time we got the ball, it felt like everything just slowed down and was just comfortable and calm. And he'd still, I think the second goal started from him. I think he was rolling the ball around and he fizzed it into McGinn, who went on and on and on. But yeah, like you said, the back four were much stronger yesterday. Cash and Longley had better games than we know they're capable of having. The midfield were very bright, and people were saying it's just we look so good when we break through the lines and stuff. We look really, really strong, and we can cause a lot of damage to teams. Going forward as well, I mean, Watkins was clinical. He had one disallowed in the first half as well. I think he was miles off, but again, stuck it in the net, and that's exactly what he needed for his confidence. And yeah, that's 2 more goals to him, and a big result, like you said.
Yeah, well, Nick, let's talk about those goals, and especially let's start with his first one. Again, it was JJ winning the ball from the throw in, Fulham's throw in. It was a mistake. JJ nips in, gets in there, has 2 bites at the cherry, and the second one gets the ball to Ollie. But Ollie's composure in that moment to roll his man and just side foot it in the corner. That's a side of Ollie Watkins that's really grown. He's just composure in front of goal, and we saw that yesterday with both goals. He took them so well, and he never looked phased at all. Just put it straight in the corner.
Yeah, it's that ability, I think, with Watkins to just shift the ball and set himself so quickly that it just doesn't give the attackers any time to react. Defenders any time to react at all. He was up against a brute of a centre half yesterday. I can't remember the fella's name. Was it Diop or something?
Diop, yeah.
Oh, and he was tight to Watkins all game, and he was kicking him and he was knocking him down many times. But he always had that little edge on him, and that turn of pace or that little shimmy, and he's got him. And that's what happened with that first goal. We pressed them from the throw in. We won the ball back in that dangerous position, and the composure to slot it away was superb. And the scenes in the away end were pretty impressive at that point.
I bet they were, and they would have been absolutely crazy if this next moment had gone in, Noah, and that was Leon Bailey, who just after we went 1-0 up, had a moment where he's shown the techers, he's knocked it through the defender's leg, and then he's hit this left foot shot outside the box, dipping, swerving, and unluckily it just comes off the bar and doesn't go in. But that would have been one of the goals of the season if that had flown in the top corner.
Absolutely, and he just seems to be getting better and better as time goes on. Leon Bailey's full of confidence at the moment, and that shows with the shot he had a crack at. I mean, I think last season or the season before he might not have done what he did. It just proves, he's on cloud 9. He's just re-signed with us, which is massive, and he was probably our best player for the first half an hour. I'd have to say he was unbelievable, unplayable.
I would agree with that. I think he's got a bit of an arrogance, a bit of a strut with him that he's not scared to, try these things now. And he realizes that he's a important player. He's going to start every week in the big games. He's signed the new contract. So it's really good to see him really at the top of his game and showing us what we've all wanted from him from a couple of years now. Through injury and inconsistency, we haven't really seen it, but this season we've been seeing it, and it's been fabulous. And if that goal had gone in, I would have been running around my living room in the middle of the night, because that was some strike. But we kept going, we kept creating chances, Owen, and there was the offside goal for Moreno, which. Was it offside? This is all the talk on Twitter and on social media, and even the pundits. So I think we had Effin and Koku as commentator here, co-commentator, and he said himself, I don't think that line's in the right spot. Like when it came up on the screen, and it just seems like the VAR again could have caused a real potential issue if we had not gone on to win this game.
Yeah, I think. Well, at half time, my phone was going a bit nuts. People were going, and we're not too sure if that's offside. I mean, it's hard. You had no idea what to see because it's down the other end from where we were. But when you start to see the pictures, you think, I think it's Bailey.
Bailey's foot,
off. You can see he's off.
Yeah.
And then I think it's the rear end of Moreno is in the way, but I think it's very, very tight.
Yeah.
I think if it's the other way round and the goal is given originally, because I think it was flagged off originally, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it given? Yeah.
Yeah.
If that was given originally, there's a good chance they might have just let it stand. It's a very tight one for sure, but luckily it didn't matter in the end. But again, it had come from a corner and some real good play in the build up to it, and he was on his own. He was a free header at the back stick, so McPhee had done his homework, but the VAR officials did not.
No, and it's good to see him popping up and scoring some goals, even though this one didn't count. Nick, I think we've got a real tussle for places in that left back spot. We got Digne came on late in the game. He's back from injury now, and it's interesting to think, like, if everyone's fit and firing, who do you think is our best left back, and who do you think will keep that spot going into the sort of the run-ins to the rest of the season?
I think it's the beauty of the squad we've got, because you haven't quite got that individual player who covers everything. I think both of them, Digne and Moreno, provide different abilities. So sometimes, bombing forward, Emery likes to get them forward. He likes to get them, whipping the crosses in, but they vary sometimes in terms of their ability. Moreno's popping up with the goals. He's just appearing from, I know we saw against Sheffield United, etc., and in Europe. And but yesterday, I think he wasn't quite getting the crosses in as well as he could have. Digne comes on, he offers you that little bit more quality in the delivery.
Yeah, looks like
so. I think it's just, I think we've got our number one left back. Oh, sorry, am I still here?
Yeah, you just froze for a second, but we
Sorry,
heard
mate.
what you were saying. Yeah, like Digne does like to keep a bit wider, get the crosses in, whereas Moreno will get in the box and try and attack that far post. Noah, so going into halftime, I think we were all, happy with what we were seeing. The only concern was that maybe we could have been 2 or 3-0 up. And then going into the second half, we get that second goal. Ollie Watkins again. Yuri Tillemans with a brilliant ball, absolutely brilliant. If you just like, Ollie doesn't have to break his stride. He hits a first time. It's not an easy ball to play at all. I thought Tillemans' game was a bit up and down. I thought for periods he seemed to, like, I didn't really notice him out there, but then he does something like that, bang, 2-0, and it's game over.
Yeah, it was such a well-worked team goal because, as Owen mentioned at the start, it did start with Pau Torres in the back line, and he's just so calm. He just waits for that perfect pass to McGinn, and then it just bang, bang, bang from there. McGinn to Tillemans, and Watkins, just what a run, perfectly timed, and he was never going to miss that, was he? Especially in the form he's in. It's it's just so special to have a striker like him that when he's running one-on-one, I back him in to score. Like previously with Watkins, I'm not going to lie, probably I'd say he's going to miss those chances, but especially this season, he's been absolutely burying them, and it's what we've needed for quite a long time, a clinical finisher.
That's right. And then, probably most of us, Owen, felt like we could go on and maybe get 3 or 4 here and make it, a real drubbing. But unfortunately, Fulham got one back. We are clean sheet that we rarely get to keep. That curse strikes again, and we gave off a soft goal. Matty Cash, I think, probably can do a bit more to stop the cross coming in, and then Longley and Emmy sort of, I don't know whose fault do you think that is. I think it's a bit of both, but I would probably say it's Emmy's, because if he's going to come, he's got to come and just clear everyone out. That's my thought. But what do you think on that goal we conceded?
Well, I thought we were fairly comfortable, so I actually don't even recall seeing the goal. I think we were just chatting away about something, and I've looked up and it's gone in. Obviously, having watched it back, I think Emmy, if he's coming, he ended up in a bit of no man's land. I mean, I think Longley got completely beaten by his man. He was causing a few problems off the ball. That striker was. He was just running around pulling defenders out, but didn't really get the service or anything required. I think he scored last week. He scored a few, to be fair, but I think Longley's fallen asleep and let him run across. But then, if he stays on his line, Martinez, there's a good chance he probably gets a hand to it, because we know he's a good enough goalkeeper at doing so. So it was a bit frustrating, but luckily we did the job, and we were shored up at the back after that. Traore coming on, I'm sure we'll talk about Traore at some point, but he come on and tried to cause a few problems, but obviously, as we know, just doesn't have that quality. that we've seen all throughout his career. He gets so far and then he'll cross it and he'll go straight out play or whatever. But no, we
To be
held
fair,
on.
I'd actually forgotten that he even played for Fulham. When he came on the pitch,
Yeah.
I was like, "What, Traore?" Like,
Yeah, he's
oh
been around.
shit, yeah. And I felt similar to Noah. It was like the curse of the ex-villain coming back to haunt us. Like, it's happened so many times. But Nick, that save that Emmy does make off Traore at the end of the match is just top quality. And he didn't have a lot to do, Martinez, in this game. He came for a few crosses and, dominated his box well. But in that final sort of moment where he had to, pull out something huge to keep the team with the win, he does it. And, he's just so valuable for us back there.
Yeah, that we're blessed. We've got the world's #1 keeper, World Cup winner, and it shows, doesn't it? You see the great teams of the past, not necessarily Villa, but United with Schmeichel and people like that. They have goalkeepers that win you points. As much as the goals that were winners' points, without those saves, we're going away with a point or even worse. And you've got full confidence in him, haven't you? Particularly those one-on-one situations, which he's known for. He'll just completely, it must be frightening for the striker to look at that, and you've got this huge colossus, quality keeper bearing down on you. You panic and you hit it, and he makes a quality save once again. And as you say, he had very little to do, and we might put a little bit of criticism for the goal, but you can't knock him. He's he's the pivotal point and the spine of our team, as we call it. Where without him, we are definitely a weaker side.
Absolutely. And with this high line, he gets, we do sort of, play a risky style, Noah, and he's got to be like the sweeper keeper sometimes. Sometimes he has to, take the one-on-ones because, the striker will be clean through. Like we saw one he saved against Calvert-Lewin for Everton a few weeks ago, where it was another great save one-on-one. So he certainly got that in his locker, and he's just got the ability to look the striker in the eye and just sort of be like, "No, you're not getting past me, not today." And he's got that arrogance, that that shithousery side to him, where he's just, he's so confident that just brings out these super saves that he does.
Yeah, and as Nick said, like well and truly blessed to have a keeper like him between the sticks, because we've had some shockers over recent years, especially in between the goals. And it's not every day that you get a World Cup #1 keeper in your net and you just back him in. I just feel so calm knowing that he's in the net. Like when we have Robin Olsen or someone else playing in cup games and stuff, you just don't quite have the confidence. But I just look back at that save from Traore and you see him running it on goal, and Emmy just makes himself so big, and it's just unbelievable the way he's so consistent at doing that, and you just back him in 100% of the time. And it must feel good, like, I guess, for the centre backs and defenders to know you've got that sort of player behind you.
Absolutely. And if you think about Dean Smith's signings, right? And is he the best signing that Dean Smith ever made? I mean, we got Ollie Watkins, Tyrone Mings, Ezri Konsa, Leon Bailey. We've got a lot of great players that Smith brought in, and maybe we didn't see the best of them under Smith, but we're seeing the best of them now. And I think maybe there's no more bargain than Emi Martinez in terms of just value for the team. And you got to look back and think, Dean Smith, what he did for this team and how he looked forward into some of these players, being good for us in the future. He was a genius, and what he's done for us is massive. And Emi Martinez at what it was, 15 million, 18 million, something like that, is absolute steal.
Absolutely. And I think before he took the Charlotte job in America, I think came out saying that how proud he was to see so many of his signings still in the Villa squad, and obviously we still thank Steve Bruce for signing John McGinn.
Yeah.
And obviously we'll still thank Steven Gerrard for Boubacar Kamara. It's weird how it works. And Unai Emery, although he's done amazingly well, he hasn't really bought as many players as the previous managers did, and they're all flourishing under him.
That's right. But one player he did bring in is Pau Torres, and he was, so good, so important to have back. And I think that he was definitely one of our top players. And makes a huge difference. So let's look forward, Owen, to Nottingham Forest next Saturday. We've got another, a nice fixture on paper. Their away form isn't too good. They're sort of around the bottom sort of 6, but we did lose to them earlier in the season in probably one of our worst results and performances of the season. How do you see that game going, and what's your prediction?
Well, Forest are in a bit of a dogfight, aren't they? They've got this potential points deduction, big fine looming over them as well. So it looks like they're really scrapping for points every single week. And I haven't watched it back yet, but it seems like they got a really good positive result yesterday at home. The Forest ground is quality. They always make a lot of noise, so that will help them a lot as well. But it's not something we should be concerned about, I don't think. It's a real good opportunity for us to get a big win at home again, get the home record improved, as me and Dad have said. And previous week we have not been very good at all. The Chelsea game was horrendous. The Newcastle game wasn't very good at all.
Yeah.
We were getting there with United, but ultimately we come away with absolutely nothing and an injured central midfielder. But no, I think we'll be fine. I think the crowd will be up because of this week. If we keep playing the way we did yesterday, I'm sure we'll be completely fine. And for a prediction, I will go 2-0. 2-0 Villa. I think we'll keep it clean sheet.
What about you, Nick? How do you see the Forest game going?
Yeah, I think it'll be a tough affair. Forest, great result yesterday, disposing of a very out of sorts West Ham United, who are a different conversation altogether. But Forest made it difficult for us last year. As I don't know, we came away triumphed, but I think they made it quite hard for us. I think that Brennan Johnson at the time was playing for them and making it a real tough game. But I think as I said, we got it right, started to get it right against United. We definitely got it right yesterday and against Sheffield United. I think we'll probably just have a little bit too much for them, particularly with Torres back in the team. Watching that guy yesterday, he's just Rolls Royce of a defender. We're getting very lucky to have such quality in the team, and he just makes the game so easy. And as you say, I think it just brings confidence to the rest of the back line and the rest of the squad. So with Torres back in the team, Watkins firing, I can see a 2-0 myself here as well, if not 3 or 4.
Yeah, it's a good point. Before Noah gives us his prediction, it's a good point you make about Torres giving confidence to the rest of the back line, because I was noticing that, Emmy would get the ball and then, he'd wait for them to close him down, and then the ball would always go to Torres and that would springboard the attack, when we didn't have that before, it was guys like Carlos and Conser and Longley doing that similar ball, and they probably don't have the same quality and vision as Torres. And just the difference, like he was hitting Ollie Watkins, Leon Bailey, John McGinn in those little pockets. And it's huge, Noah, just to just in the attacking side to have someone like Torres back.
Yeah, his distribution second to none. I mean, over recent weeks, we've had Carlos spraying him out of bounds for throw-ins 5-6 times a game. So it's just a bit different to have someone that you just know he's gonna hit the right pass. Like it's just ridiculous how pinpoint he is with his distribution, and absolutely just thrilled to have him back. I mean, I'm not sure actually how many games he missed. Was it like 5 or so, maybe?
Yeah,
like it's quite a long time to think about it. So just have him in for the run in, and then obviously the Conference League kicks off next month as well.
That's it. And what's your prediction for Forest?
I think we're going to absolutely just blitz them out the park. I was going to go 4-0. I think it's going to be like a Brentford last season game where we just don't miss. I'm going to go 4-0.
Well, I'm going to say 3-1 Villa and make everyone happy that I'm predicting a Villa win again. And, I'm not jinxing anything. We're going to come out and we're going to win this one game 3-1, I think. And I could see an Ollie hat trick. How about that? That'd be good.
Yeah, well, Tommy wouldn't have said a Watkins hat trick, that's for sure. He's gone into hiding, I think, since Watkins has found form again.
I know, yeah, he doesn't come on when Watkins scores, but no, I think he's a believer now. And we will find out soon, Owen, about who we get in the next round of the Europa League conference. Is there anyone you fancy? Will you be traveling to the away leg?
If it's easy enough to get to, there's a good chance I'll go. I don't fancy anyone in Norway. I think that's
Oh,
it's
come
really
on.
difficult
Bodo
to
Glimt's supposed to be
yeah.
lovely this time of year.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure it is. No, I worked out we've worked out allocations and stuff like that, and obviously someone like Ajax would be brilliant, but
Mm,
that makes things very difficult. Then I think someone like Olympiacos or Zagreb or someone a bit different, that just to make it interesting along the way, but
yep.
somewhere that we can all get to and take thousands over, and it'll be brilliant again because Amsterdam, for example, was quality with thousands of Villa out there. Hopefully we can kick on though, because I think there's a few nerves creeping around about how far we can go in this tournament, especially with recent results in the league. But no, I'm
Mm,
confident. There's all the ties. I think maybe besides one or two are still very much in the balance. There was a lot of draws. There was a lot of one goal either way in the first leg this week. So yeah, I'll be interested to see who we get. I believe it's next week the draw. So yeah, it should be good.
and also if we're looking at a sort of a where we're going to finish next year, and the Champions League allocation, we want the German sides, Nick, and the Spanish sides to get knocked out. So we want the English sides to do really well, and hopefully then if we do finish fifth, we could get into the Champions League, and that would be quite an amazing season if that would happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was amazing last season, wasn't it? The journey we got to get into Europe after such a terrible start, and I think it's going to take something catastrophic for us to fall out of the race for the European spots. We've got a pretty good cushion, and who knows how the results will go today. And people, saw Tottenham yesterday losing, and so I think if we can get into that top five, I think is a really good chance. I think we just need to look at that mini league now between ourselves, Tottenham, Man United probably coming into that as well, and that's the battle really. And let's let the rest take care of themselves, but to get into the Champions League, wow, that would be amazing. I'd love it for Owen and the lads as well, just to be able to take on some of those new adventures and those massive clubs in Europe.
Absolutely. Yeah, and let's look forward to hopefully winning some silverware this year, Noah, because the Europa League conference is a competition we can win. We've got the team to do it, and hopefully we get a few more bodies back and we get a reasonable draw, and we can because winning that will mean that we will qualify for the Europa League no matter what happens in the league. But and if we did finish in the Europa League next season, that's not terrible. I wouldn't, it's certainly an improvement on last year, and we just keep going and we keep going.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's still progression.
Yeah.
Obviously, we did so well to get Europa Conference League last year, and I guess everyone sees where we are currently and where we were. And if we were to drop out, people might see it's a bit of a not so good end to the season. But I mean, as long as we get Europe again and we keep improving and we get bodies back, and yeah, that's all you can ask for. It's just gradual progression, to be honest, under Unai Emery.
That's it. And yeah, I mean, if you look at Newcastle this year, they made the Champions League, but they got dumped out, and now they're sort of struggling a bit to find that same form they got into last year. So I think the consistency is the big thing, and just to take this season, add one or two players, and kind of keep progressing, like you said, and being consistent and in that top six conversation every year. And I think that's, as Villa fans, most of us would take that, because we've had plenty of years, in the other end of the league and in the championship as well. So just to see us even in this conversation is fantastic. And yeah, that's a good enough place as any to wrap up. Nick, Owen, thanks for coming on again. You guys, awesome. I'm glad you had such a great time at Craven Cottage yesterday. The scenes, and make sure you go and check Max's Villa on Tour video, because yeah, the scenes looked amazing there, and the Villa fans, the away fans, are always top notch, and I think it's helping the players right now, and it helped them yesterday. So well done to all you guys, and you guys are welcome back anytime. So yeah, up until the next game, Forest at home, I will say up the Villa, and we'll see you next week.
Woo.
All right, see you later.
Thanks, everyone. See ya.